We're currently under a winter storm watch. We might get up to 8 inches tonight, which for our area that's a lot because the past few years we have barely gotten anything. So I'm out here getting all the animals ready. I stopped at the horse farm earlier to put Cinnabar's new blanket on her. I got her a new blanket from Tactical, and it's like it was made for her. It fits perfectly, it looks great, it looks really warm, and it showed up just in time for the bad weather we're supposed to get tonight. So now I'm giving the chickens some corn and some black oil sunflower seeds to help keep up their calories and their carbohydrates tonight since it's going to be very cold. I'm putting some more straw in their nesting boxes and I'm going to feed them. And I'll fill their feeders up with extra food so that way I don't have to worry about the hassle of that tomorrow when it's snowy. I'm also going to deworm them. I do this on a regular basis. This is diatomaceous earth, feed grade of course. And you just mix it into their food. I'm going to stir it up so that way it coats it. And if they eat food coated in this, it'll slice up any bugs or parasites that are in their system, so that way you can deworm them naturally without having to worry about a withdrawal period for the eggs. It also works great if you mix it into their bedding because it'll kill any mites that might try to live on them. I'm going to put their toy away too so that way the snow doesn't cover it. Need to wash it off anyway, it got muddy. They liked it though, they got all the treats out of it. And it looks like I got to put more oyster shell and grit in their little bird feeder. And then we'll be ready, we'll see if it actually snows. Monkey. Monkey! As a side note, I just wanted to say that my chickens have such a nice, varied diet with so many nutritious things in it that their yolks are so vibrant. And a perfect example of this is we made pancakes this morning for breakfast, and of course you put eggs in your pancakes. And the yolks were so yellow that the pancakes are literally golden. Take a look at them. Just another reason why it pays to get your own chickens, or if you can't have chickens for some reason, buy eggs locally. Because you won't find eggs that quality in a grocery store. That's for sure. So since it snowed and since it's pretty windy and extremely cold today, I thought now would be a good time to give my chickens this Nutri-Drench and tell you guys a little bit about it. So it's basically a concentrated form of vitamins and essential nutrients in liquid form, and your chickens will absorb these nutrients extremely rapidly. It works well if you have sick chickens, although I do want to use a disclaimer. If your chicken is sick, take it to the vet. But in the meantime, this can help give them a boost because I know some people have a hard time finding poultry vets, so in the meantime, while you're looking, it doesn't hurt to give them this. But you can also give it as a preventative. So if there's weather stress due to heat or due to cold, this is a really good thing to give them, just to give them a nice little boost. It's also good for shipping stress. If you have show birds that you're shipping around or baby chicks, it's good for them. And it has all the instructions right on here. It's safe for all classes of poultry, all ages, all species. It smells interesting. It's not necessarily a bad smell, but it is kind of strong. But they've had this before, so it doesn't seem to bother them. So yeah, this is just something nice to give your chickens' immune systems a boost and to help keep them strong and healthy and feeling good during times of stress. It kind of looks like beer. So I don't use heated chicken waters. I'm not against them by any means, but you do need extension cords for those, and I would need a really, really long one to get it to work where I have my setup. And ever since I got chickens, which I got them in 2020, and I lucked out because I got mine literally right before everyone started panic buying chickens because of COVID. Like, the timing with mine worked out so well, I couldn't have been luckier. But ever since then, we've been very lucky and blessed to have some mild winters here. So it hasn't really been too much of an issue for me. Now, if that ever changes, or if I lived somewhere else, I might be singing a different tune. And besides having to set up an extension cord, the heated chicken waters probably are super convenient. Now, the one downside, I have heard that they're really, really difficult to screw on and off when you have to refill it. But besides that, it probably is really convenient. But what I've been doing is I use this, look out Puka, rubber water bowl, and the rubber helps keep it insulated. And then, of course, on some days I do need to come out a couple times to break up the ice, but it's super simple. I just pick it up, dump it, and then refill it. I filled it up this morning, and you can see it's still not even frozen, but I am going to dump that anyway and refill it with the new solution I just mixed up for them. And the bowls are really nice year-round because it's such a pain to have to screw on and off the chicken waters, because the tops and the bottoms don't always come apart so easily, and in the summer they can grow algae. So I feel like it's just more fresh when you use a bowl, but everyone's different. So when it's cold, you want to make sure that your coop is nice and dry, it's free of drafts, but you do want to make sure that you still have some airflow because you don't want it to just be stale, stagnant air in there, because chickens and birds in general just have really sensitive respiratory systems. Having a clean, well-made, draft-free coop is how I keep my chickens warm in the winter, along with giving them some supplements to their diet and some warm water to drink. Some people will use heat lamps, which I'm not a fan of, and you've probably heard me talk about that in other videos because it's a huge fire hazard. Dealing with the cords is a hassle. And your birds could flap around and easily knock this down, and who wants to risk having a fire? It's just not worth it. If your coop is set up properly, and if you have enough chickens in there to keep each other company, because let's be real here, you should never just have a single chicken. That's unethical. They're flock animals, they need to live in groups. So if you have a proper setup and enough chickens, they will keep each other warm. I have this for baby chicks, so that's why I'm showing you this as an example. But some people use this also because if you put up artificial lighting, it'll make your chickens think that it's still spring and they'll keep laying eggs longer. But I think that they deserve to have their natural break during the winter and slow down a little bit, because that's what their bodies were designed to do. And I think that they deserve that break so that they can live longer and recharge, and they'll be ready to go in time for spring. So that's my little rant on that. You can buy heating pads instead of a light if you want to keep them warm. I'll show you that. And that is a little bit safer than this option, but it's still a hassle because of the extension cords and all that. So basically, if your coop is set up correctly and you're feeding them right, it shouldn't be an issue. You also want to make sure that they have high calorie and high protein treats like mealworms, grubs, sunflower seeds, and corn, because that's rich in carbohydrates, so it'll help give them energy. When they eat things like this and they start to digest it, it's going to warm up their little bodies and help them stay warm and comfortable in the winter. You can also give them little pieces of suet to help keep their calories up. But as always, make sure you give treats in moderation so that they don't become overweight. And I've recently made a few different treat videos, so if you want to check that out to learn more about safe treats for chickens and the health benefits of some different treats, make sure you check those out. And there's another thing that you can make your chickens that'll help keep them warm on a day like this. And that is scrambled eggs. We're going to go inside and I'm going to show you how I make scrambled eggs for the chickens. Look how gold that is. And you know, since they're chickens and they need calcium, it's okay to break up some of the shell and put it in here with the eggs. It's a great economical way to give them protein and calcium without having to spend any extra money. We're feeding them with their own resources that they provided for us. So you can give chickens dairy in moderation. You can use milk, like a lot of people do when they're making scrambled eggs. You could use non-flavored, plain Greek yogurt. I'm going to use cottage cheese. It's a nice way to give them some extra protein. But if you wanted to avoid dairy, you could just use some water to mix this with as well. Because, like I said, you don't want to overdo it with the dairy for them, but occasionally it is a good way to give them an extra boost of calcium. And now I'm also going to put some whole flax seeds in here for the omega-3s. I talked about this in other videos, so I'm probably going to sound like a broken record if you already watched those. But if chickens have an omega-3 rich diet, their eggs are going to become more rich in omega-3s, so when you eat them, they'll be even healthier for you, so it's a win for everyone. And of course, you do not want to add salt and pepper to this. Chickens don't need that, but you can add dried herbs. Now, if this was spring, summer, or fall, I grow my own herbs, so I would add fresh ones, but it's winter, so dry herbs are going to have to do it. A lot of herbs are really good for respiratory health, and a lot of them have also been known to have natural antibiotic, antifungal, and antimicrobial properties. So they're loaded with health benefits, and it'll give it a little bit of extra flavor. Alright, let's mix it up. Oh, and if you hear a faint humming in the background, that's just the fireplace. Don't mind that. If you wanted to, you could also add small amounts of crushed raw garlic to this, because garlic is really good for their immune systems, their heart health, but I'm going to skip that for today. If you wanted to, you could also mix some different leafy greens and vegetables in here too for them. So we're going to let that cool off a little bit. I'm going to bring it out to them while it's warm but not hot, because they get really excited about treats and I don't want them burning themselves. But this is a really nice, healthy, nutritious way to give your chickens a boost and help warm them up on a cold, snowy day. And it couldn't be any simpler to make. So if you make sure that your hens have proper shelter, that they're nice and hydrated, and that they have lots of good, nutritious food, they should be just fine in the winter. Of course, you want to monitor them and keep an eye on them to make sure everything's going well. But there's really no need to sweat it. So let's go see what they think about this. The neighbors are probably like, there goes that goofy girl again talking to her chickens. I'll put it closer to the coop to try to entice the others to come out. I cannot wait until spring so I can start cleaning up in here and decorating again, because another good thing to do on a cold, snowy day is to start planning. I wrote down a bunch of plans and saved some ideas on the computer because I have big plans to spruce it up in here a little bit as soon as the weather gets nice this spring. So make sure you stay tuned because you're not going to want to miss that. It's going to look really nice in here, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to make.